Good morning and welcome to the Art of Fire glass blowing studio. I'm Bruce, and today we have a special event. We're going to be creating the studio spirit piece. So I see a couple of you already on board here. We had our drawing for last week's winner. This pretty little purple mug is going to go to Barbara Spitzer. Good morning, Patrick. Welcome aboard. And the prize for this week's drawing will be the teal vase that you see here. So, somebody's going to get it. Good morning, Lynn Bear. Good to have you with us. Okay. And Tracy Calkins-Roble. All right, Jennifer, welcome aboard from Damascus, Maryland. All right. Yeah, hey, everybody check in. Just get them right in there. Come on, let's talk. Sharon, good to have you with us. How about our UK contingent? We got Steve or Tommy. We got Joanna. Got anybody from elsewhere around the world out there? The number is growing. Okay. Well, anyway, we're going to get into this in just a moment here. But so let's check it out and see. Todd's getting ready. Todd's going to make the spirit piece today. You want to describe that to us, please, Todd? All right.
Yes, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to do an overlay on a small bubble, on a really nice mixed black. We're going to put a really thick band of white as a spiral around that. We're going to pull that into sort of a teardrop form, and then we're going to drape different colored bands across the sides. Put a hook on top of that. Let's see the hook going on.
Okay, cool. Sounds really great. And as you may have read in the run-up to this presentation, this piece will be on display at the Maryland Renaissance Fair at the glass blowing shop there, and it will stay up all season long. It will be available for purchase. You can contact us online or at the fair to talk about buying it, but even if you should purchase it, it will remain at the fair until the end of the season. And so also we want to remember that the Maryland Renaissance Fair is going to open the weekend of August 28th and 29th. You can go online to the RenFest site and buy your tickets in advance, and that's highly recommended because sounds like the phone birdies tweeted again. Yeah, it's warm in here this morning. We're keeping an eye on it. Actually, kind of funny, what we started doing was taking an ice pack and putting on Theta's phone before we start the filming. So we're really trying to keep this thing cooled down a good bit. And so anyway, yep, hello, Jennifer. And Susan, welcome, Susan. All right, so Todd is heating up the blowing iron, and looks like he's got some clear glass on the end of that. Josh is preparing the glass for the overlay. Welcome, David Hogan. Okay, so he's got the glass for the overlay, and what Todd's got over here is a bit of clear glass, and he's not even using all that he gathered. You can see that he's going to cut some of it off. The glass that Josh has will get really, really hot, and Todd will drop it on the top and over. Okay, so well, hello, Mel. Welcome aboard. All right, so we also have some additional news this morning, and this will be our final broadcast for a little while. We'll be taking a bit of a hiatus, if you will. The Ren Fair is starting up, and hello, Jen and Patricia. Glad to have you with us, and Cheryl. Okay, so we're going to be taking a little time away from the Facebook Live presentations. The Renaissance Fair ends toward the end of October, and if we pick these back up, there'll be announcements on our website. But we've really enjoyed it. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but we're going to be dropping these videos. This will be the last one for a while. All right, here comes Josh with the color for the overlay. Todd accepts it, drops it onto the top of the piece, and then he'll cut it off. And he'll cut off that glass really close to the pipe so he gets the full amount of color on there. Scott Farrell asked, what is he going to do Tuesdays without you guys? Well, yeah, we kind of feel the same way. Yeah. Okay. So Todd is going to roll that color down over the clear. And as we've said, you know, we're going to take a little hiatus here, but we started off last August 25th, and we created the spirit piece that would have been at the Renaissance Fair had we actually been there. And because of COVID, we had to change things up, and we've enjoyed doing these videos. I particularly have enjoyed them over the last year. It's been a real ride. So hope you'll talk to us about that. Let us know what you've got going on. Any of you that are glass blowers or are interested in glass blowing, tell us maybe what this year has meant, and we appreciate hearing about it. Okay, yeah, somebody's probably going to hear the birdies because we didn't change the notifications on Theta's phone, but I'm not going to touch it right now. So we'll just listen to the birds this morning too. Actually, when I looked out my kitchen window this morning, I saw the first ruby-throated hummingbird we'd had at the hummingbird feeder in quite a while. Yep, you guys can watch the old videos, listen to the old jokes, probably recycled a bit of them anyway, even when we were live. Don't always have a whole lot of original thought here. Okay, so Todd now has introduced some more air into that bubble. He's got it coated well. And what color is that, Todd?
Black.
Black. Okay. Is the white going to be a trail? Okay. So Josh now is preparing a bit of white glass. Notice how he's putting a little bit of a point to it. He's got it tapered into a kind of a conical shape. All right, Scott, that's cool. Well, we're glad to have helped out and glad you've enjoyed what's going on. Now, Todd has gathered up some more clear glass, so there'll be a layer of clear separating the black from the white. And Josh has gathered some clear glass, and he's going to pull that back from the glass a little bit. He's going to thin it out now, and he's going to have just a very thin layer of clear casing the white. So he'll use the tweezers to pull it back, and you can see he's pulling the clear glass back, but the white's staying there. He'll pinch the front end of it and pull it out a little bit. You can see a little bit of clear forming out there, and then he can just cut that right off. And the purpose and the casing of that is so that the glass doesn't spread through the process of making the piece. Kind of like colors kind of bleed in clothing or something if you do things wrong. Well, we can have the glass spread or bleed out if we have our glass uncased, especially during the course of construction as the piece is heated over and over several times and the glass has more chance to move. So this casing of clear will just kind of keep it in place. Good morning, Kathleen. Glad to have you with us. And yes, we're looking forward to this too. We've got a few more folks online, so I'll probably have to mention several times during the course of this little broadcast that we're going to take a hiatus for the Maryland Renaissance Fair. We need the time in the studio to be creating the work that those of you that are fortunate enough to visit us at the fair will be able to see and hopefully purchase. So we've been at it almost a year. We started August 25th last year. Here we are, July 27th? 11 months. How about that? My, how time flies. So Todd's taken another gather of glass, so he's got that black core now well sealed up inside of clear glass. He's going to shape that gather of glass now so that he can apply the trail. Will this be on the threader, Todd? Random? Okay. So lots of times when we put a trail on a piece, we can either put it on at the little tool we call the threader back there, or we can put it on in a more random manner which is what we're going to see right now. Todd will grip the iron, make the contact, and then pull the piece of glass that Josh has back. And he's not quite a full random. He's got a nice spiral, but it's very thick. See how thick that spiral is? We wouldn't normally get that over on our threading machine. So he's got that laid in there all the way down to the bottom, cuts it off, and now he's got that beautiful trail on there. And the casing on that trail will keep it from spreading out too much. Now as he works the piece, and if he barbers it and flattens it a little bit, it'll widen, but it won't spread all over. Well, it looks like there's a pretty good crowd of you out there. Why don't you take some time and in the comments, tell us about some of the things you've enjoyed seeing during the course of the last year. So as I've said, if you're just joining us, this is going to be our final episode, if you will, at least until after the end of the Renaissance Fair. So you can go back and look at the old episodes, but we won't be doing any new ones. And if we pick up later in the fall, we'll make an announcement online. But at any rate, if you've had any pieces that you've really enjoyed seeing, or perhaps pieces that you've won and are drawings, or just any old stupid thing that's happened that you've really enjoyed about these broadcasts, we'd like the feedback, because it'll help us should we decide to do it in the future. Well, Cheryl, we will miss you guys too. I particularly enjoy the back and forth. Okay. Alrighty, so Todd now is cutting a jack line in the glass. This is going to create a point of separation. Josh, you made a dragon for Cheryl's co-worker, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's thanking you for that. We really loved it.
So I'm glad I made it safely.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty, so Todd needs a point of separation on the blowing iron there. Patrick Foley likes the Murini pieces. All right, cool. All right, so that constriction there near the blowpipe will serve as a point to separate the piece from the blowing iron later on. He's using the newspaper right now to kind of chill the glass. The wet newspaper folded up like that is a perfect insulator, and there he's blowing it out some. You can see the diameter increase. All right. And Barbara Spitzer, congratulations on winning the little purple mug. That'll be yours, and our giveaway for next week, or for this week, which we'll announce later on online and get in contact with the winner, is a little teal vase. We'll show that again in a minute. David Hogan says he loves the complex pieces that we make. It just blows his mind. All right. Well, we enjoy doing those too. It's a lot of fun. Josh now has shaped up the glass to make the punny. And he's going to come over here and they'll attach it to the bottom of this piece and then take it away. Todd places it on the bottom, gets it centered, and then he'll just make sure that that connection is nice and stable. Then with probably a drop or two of water into that jack line and a little vibration from hitting the pipe, and it'll be free. There it goes. See how gentle the tap was that had that glass break off. So that's the key to the break off, actually, is the construction of the jack line. If the jack line is too wide, if it's not constricted enough, or it's not shaped just right, it's much more difficult to get a clean break like he just did. All righty. So are these going to be trails going on, or what's up over here, Josh?
So it's just a nice kind of rainbow of the colors.
Okay.
And these are going to be like the tails coming off the comet. So what do we got?
Oh,
Blue,
okay.
purple, green, yellow, orange.
We
red.
got all the colors of the rainbow.
We do.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you with us, Lindsay, and welcome, Linwood. And for anybody else, actually, the viewership just jumped a few numbers, so I'll have to mention again, this is going to be our last episode, at least until the end of the Renaissance Fair. We're going to have to take some time to get the wares ready for display. And so we won't be doing this Facebook Live presentation. It's been 11 months. We started August 25th last year, which would have been just about the time that the Renaissance Fair would have opened up. And so here we are. We've got a month to go before it opens again. And so anyway, we're happy to have you join us. Let us know what you've liked, what you've enjoyed about these, things you might like to see again should we get back in the habit, okay? So the Renaissance Fair runs through the weekend of October 24th, so it's probably sometime after Halloween. If we're back at it, there'll be notifications on our Facebook page. Right now, Josh is actually using the furnace for reheating. And this is done quite often, especially in the studios where we don't want we don't have a lot of glory holes. Now in this studio we're plenty well equipped, but it's just as close now for Josh to dip the glass in the red frit and then take it back over to the furnace, and without putting it down into the glass, just turning the iron, and that'll melt the red in. So he's going to get the good thick coating of red on there. And as Josh mentioned, he's got the colors of the rainbow here, so these will be part of the comet's tail. So our spirit piece this year to hang at the Renaissance Fair is a comet, and the tail is going to be coming off of the comet, and we're going to have a series of colorful strings coming off of it. And Josh is in the process of picking up those colors now. He's got the heat in it. We'll walk around behind here and take a quick look as Todd lays the red onto the piece and then draws it down, out. A little bit of a curly Q on the end of it there, and then slips it off. And there's our first one. So there's our red color on it. So. So as Steve just commented, yeah, we'll be back. We don't have a date yet, but check our Facebook page or perhaps even our website, and we'll have announcements about returning to this. Okay? So Josh now is coming back for the next color, which I would, okay, it's going to go with the blue next. Yeah, Jen, if you just tuned in, we're going to go on a little hiatus here of the Facebook Live presentations. We have to get ready for the Maryland Renaissance Fair. We're really excited about that opening up. And just as we started these broadcasts with the creation of a spirit piece last year on August 25th, we're concluding our presentations, at least for the time being, with the creation of this coming year's spirit piece. So Todd is creating this, Josh is helping him, creating a comet which will hang at the fair throughout the season. If you're interested in purchasing it, contact Theta or Foster. They'll let you know the details on that. But even if someone should purchase it, it will hang at the fair site for the entire season and then released when that's done. So it's kind of a good luck symbol and a spirit piece there for the entire duration of the show. Here we go with the blue. Same process. He touches and then he drags it out some, and then he'll start a gentle curl and wrap it around with the red and then cut it free. There we go. 2 down and 4 to go? Yeah, okay. Lots of times, if we're talking about doing the rainbow of colors, we don't actually do both a blue and a violet. We don't do the whole Roy G. Biv thing that all electricians learn. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. But you're going to have a really nice rainbow effect coming off of this comet as it hurtles through the space at the Maryland Renaissance Fair. All right, so Josh now has got the, actually he does kind of have a violet color here. It's purple. What do we got? 88?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. So that's what he's picking up. So Todd wants to keep plenty of heat in the piece so that it doesn't crack. He's got to keep that well above 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, but he has to also wait on Josh to gather up the colors for him. So you see them looking back and forth at each other. They're just coordinating the moves, deciding when they're going to be ready to make it a go. So here we go with the go on the next color. Come up here above so you can see. Draws it out, curls it around and over, and then we come down off the comet's tail. So it's a comet, Bridget. It's the spirit piece for this year's Renaissance Fair. It'll be hanging at the studio booth for the entire duration. And so as we hurtle through space into the Maryland Ren Fair, we're going to have our comet up above providing a source of inspiration. Josh has got the green now. He's going to pick that up, a couple of gathers of the green. And so we've already got the red and the blue and the purple on there, and we'll be adding the green in just a moment. So the ideal in the spirit piece, it'll hang, yep, round and round and round it goes. Just like us through the solar system. So if you're just joining us, this will be our last presentation, at least until after the end of the Ren Fair. Andrea Evans says, I'd love to learn glass blowing. Do you offer classes? Yes, we do. Yes, we do, and you can contact the studio. You can call us at 301-253-6642, or you can contact us online. Email works very well for that. artoffire.com and artoffire@artoffire.com, right, Foster?
Correct.
Okay, so that would work. So, oh yeah, we'll be taking pictures and posting them from the fair. We always do. Okay, we're ready now with the green. Josh is over to deliver it. And he's picked a spot right up there. And now this will drape around. And once again, hook over the others and get cut off. There we go. All righty. So, yeah, we've enjoyed doing this. I've particularly enjoyed it for the last 11 months, but time is of the essence, and we got to get ready for the fair. So, contact us if you're interested in lessons. We have several different levels of interaction, if you will. We have things where people just simply experience glass blowing by perhaps coming in and doing a single piece, making a bowl or a vase or a drinking glass, something like that. We've got other iterations of that where we'll have you come in for a 3-hour period, not unlike Gilligan's Island in the 3-hour tour. That's how I got started off as a glass blower. Dropped off in here for 3 hours one day. 21 years later, look at this. So anyway, we've got several levels of instruction. So we can do a one piece and you're done, make an ornament, something like that. And you can come in for just a 3-hour session. We do have, though, the more intensive classes that run across a 4-week period, 3 hours once a week. And come in, and in that, you really pretty much learn the glass blowing process, soup to nuts. We have you gather the glass from the furnace, shape the glass yourself. You're fully responsible for it. I mean, we're there to help you out. Of course, we won't let you get hurt or injured, but you learn to do the whole thing, not somebody else controlling it for you. Here we go with the orange color on there, and again the comet's tail wrapped around, and you can almost see it hurtling through the heavens right now. All right. Oh, we got one more color. We got some yellow to go on here. Okay. Well, thank you, Lynn Bear. So we're really believe that most everybody that has taken part in the experiences here has really enjoyed it, and it's worked out well. We've had quite a few folks come through the doors over the years. And we missed doing a lot during the height of the COVID, but we're glad to be getting back into it. So call the studio or contact us online, and we'll, Antoinette, one-on-one lessons, yes, we definitely do that, and we're always more than happy to have folks with glass blowing experience come in and pick up a few new tricks. Todd's keeping the heat. Notice how he points the piece straight down. That actually helps straighten it. So by pointing it straight down like that, while it's hot, the gravity pulls equally across the entire vessel and brings it straight down. Yes, Amanda, this will be a hanging piece. There'll be a hook put onto it, and just as you see this old spirit piece alongside the Art of Fire sign, and you see some others over there just above Todd's head, we'll be hanging it. So I imagine the hook will go on the long edge so that the comet looks like it's going through space, but we'll see what happens with that. Todd's the design man. Here we go with the yellow, filling in that last little gap, wrapping around the rest of the comet tail. There we go. All righty. All right, so now it's time to equalize the temperatures throughout. Make sure that it all stays warm, but not let it get hot enough to alter the shape. So Todd will probably be using gravity a little bit, maybe hanging it down, maybe altering the angle at which he holds the piece. You can see that last piece of color that went on is much brighter. Now it is brighter because it's yellow, but it's also a good bit brighter right now because it's hot. It's hotter than the blue. You can probably see the blue distinctly, and the purple, perhaps the red. So he needs to get these temperatures to kind of equalize, and he's locating the point for the hook.
Stop on me for once. Can you just bring a hook?
Okay.
And we'll do that.
Okay, time for the hook. All right. So yeah, Todd indicated where it is he wants to put the hook, and so he'll be bringing the piece over. Of course, he'll be keeping it straight and centered. Josh will get a little bit of glass, more than probably a plenty, okay, and he'll roll it so that it does kind of look like the octopus, Amanda. Yes, we can make roses. Okay, so now he'll bring it over. They'll point it straight down. Todd has picked his spot for the hook. He'll draw gently and then clip it free. And then he'll curl that over into a hook. And it's a nice strong one. Yeah, we're getting the birds because we didn't take the notifications off there, Bridget. So I'm not too worried about losing power or getting the phone overheated right now. Well, hello, Isoline. We're glad to have you with us. And anybody else that's just joined us in the last few minutes, this is going to be our last broadcast for a while. Yes, it does look a little bit like a jellyfish, but when all these colors start popping, we think you'll really enjoy seeing it, and we will have pictures posted. A little drop of water, and off it comes from the plenty. Foster's opened the doors of the annealer, and there it goes. So we will definitely have pictures posted, and as usual, we'll be putting up pictures from the fair site, so you'll be able to detect it right there. So there's our spirit piece for next year. So hang with us just a few minutes. We're not quite done yet. But that's it for the glass demonstration. Just like to announce that Barbara Spitzer won the purple mug, and this teal vase is the giveaway for next week. So all the comments you've entered will get you entered in the drawing for that. And that's what we've got going on there. We've got lots of pieces here. A lot of this you're going to see out at the Renaissance Fair. We'll be emptying the studio out. You can see we've already been busy making the ghosts, so they'll be ready for hanging. And we'll also have the ghost mugs and the pumpkin mugs, the whole bit. Tons of pumpkins, plus all the other wares you're used to seeing, the ornaments and all. Yes, it is a pretty little vase that we had there, Bridget. So don't go yet. We're going to see what's happening right here. You got anything to say, Foster, to the folks?
Say what?
You want to tell the folks how much we appreciate them?
It's been an interesting past year in everybody's lives, but we seem to be on the back end of things. The Renaissance Festival is occurring again. We appreciate you being with us and supporting us, sharing and liking and partaking and enjoying, frankly, what you would not normally get to see otherwise. I think it was made clear early on that people really enjoyed being able to see and get the close-ups of the actual glass manipulation, not to mention you, Bruce, as the narrator extraordinaire. You've really brought a great flavor to the experiences, and we want to say thank you again. Our hiatus will be for during the Renaissance Festival, and then once the festival is behind us, just prior to Halloween, we'll pick them back up again at our regular times that we have had for the past year, and we'll look forward to seeing you. That doesn't mean that you can't reach out and stay in contact with us. That's important for you to do that. Let us know how we can help you, and we look forward to having you back again real soon.
Okay, cool.
Thank you a lot.
And let's go over and have a quick word with the brains behind the outfit. Okay. And Theta, if you'd like to say anything to our viewers.
Well, we really love you guys, and thank you for hanging with us all this time. I think Josh and Todd are going to do an encore. We have some people complaining because we're cutting it short.
Okay.
And then we're going to abandon them, so they're going to do
An encore presentation. Okay, see, I told y'all not to leave.
Just keep applauding and
Yeah.
coming back.
Oh yeah, we're real love hounds around here. You tell us how much you love something, we just keep on going with it. All right, so let's see what the dynamic duo is cooking up next. What's going on? We don't know. Okay.
I know Todd knows.
Oh, Todd knows.
Absolutely.
Okay, you
Todd-
don't
Todd
know.
always
Okay.
knows.
Well,
never know.
what's up, Todd?
We're going to do a little fancy jack in the pulpit. Give us a moment to set up.
Okay, all righty. So they're going to get some colors set up, get their irons all aligned and everything. So while we do that, and Foster, you want to flip the lights on the rest of the gallery? We'll just take a quick spin down there and talk about some of the things. That's kind of a loaded question, Antoinette. She asks, would Bruce be doing glass blowing while everyone's at the fair? If you're talking about at the fair, possibly not. My role around here for the last 21 years has been hold the studio down and, yes, do some teaching and some glass blowing and whatnot at the studio. But now that I've been introduced and exposed to the rest of you here, perhaps I will make an appearance at the Ren Fair. We'll have to see about that. I can guarantee you, at the studio, Antoinette, I can guarantee you, though, if I go to the Ren Fair, I'm not wearing a leather miniskirt. Okay, so we've got a lot of pieces here. Some of these things, you've seen the techniques many times before. We've shown you the reticello pieces, we've shown you Murini pieces, and we've done the flattened pitchers, which are particularly fun to do. We've done some Incalmo pieces. We haven't done a lot, but here's one, a really beautiful bowl that's got a pink band followed by some cane work in the green center. We've done we haven't done any of these tall vases yet, but we've done most every other shape you see here. Here's an interesting one right here. This was an Incalmo piece where the two cups were joined side by side instead of top to bottom or turned side by side, but they also have a really interesting twist in them. And you've seen us do the confetti style pieces where we back up an opaque color with them. We can use just pastels or we can use a multitude of colors. We've got frit that we've twisted up here. This one happens to be having a nice white background. Some more Murini up here. So we've got a lot of this stuff that you probably haven't seen much of. Our raked pieces and pieces with the multiple colors in them. And let's see what we got back here on the blue wall, the big blue wall. Here's an interesting one. This platter here is cane work that has been twisted. We call this a wigwag design. And you can kind of see how the curves went one direction and another. They wiggle back and forth, but they're done on a long cylinder. And then once the piece is spun out into the platter shape, that's what gives us that really unique design on there. Most anything you want that you see in our catalog, you can get made in any of these colors. We've got stemware, we've got pitchers, bowls, vases, and as you can see, a multitude of colors. This is actually one of my favorites. I did this one, and I call this jewel tones. And so anyway, yeah, they're pretty cool. So you can see the green and the pink and the orange and everything else in there. And so anyway, we've got here's a Jack in the Pulpit right here. And the guys are going to be making one, but I got a feeling it's going to be a little different than that. Here's a beautiful Murini piece right here. And more of the raking stuck back in over here. These colors go together so beautifully. Here is a riff on a Chinese vase design. This is where we put 3 layers of powder on, and the catalog is actually online, Angie. If you go to artifier.com, almost all of our products are listed there. Now, there will be some things that are like one of a kind that are only here in the studio, like the piece I just showed you over there with the jewel tones, or the tall vases, or some of these other things. Or like this piece right here. I'm not sure if it's in the catalog or not, but we have a few pieces like that, or something like this with the twisted colors and whatnot. But most all of everything is online, artifier.com, and you can find most everything we make right there. And what was interesting this past fall, or fall a year ago, is we got onto this doing the website things, and we started hooking up with some woodworkers. And the woodworkers had us demonstrate on their video. And so we started incorporating glass with the wood. So we've even got a little bit of imaginative use right there. Of course, we've got our rondelles. Here's one I believe you probably saw made about 3 months ago. It's a rainbow pattern with the diamond optics in it. And so if you have a special piece you'd like created, you can get in touch with us and we can handle that too. Will we be taking custom orders during the Ren Fair? We will take custom orders. However, we would ask that you understand that during the height of the Renaissance Fair, we may be a little bit delayed from our normal short turnaround time while we are working on other stuff. But if we give you a promise that we're making a custom piece for you, if we have a time frame for it and it's something that you're agreeable to, we will get it done. So we will continue to take custom orders, but we just might be a little slower filling them during the Ren Fair. Okay. So, more pieces back here. It looks like folks are getting ready, and Todd's got some color out. Looks like he's got some, is that cherry red? Got some cherry red and some white. Black? Okay. Alrighty. So you can see these frits come in various grain sizes. Like the white, you might be able to see, is really, really fine. And the black is what's called a 00, which is even finer. So he's got a 00 there, and this is a 0 here that he has also. So we've got several different sizes on the frit, and Todd's off to gather. There we go. All right, so the piece is underway. Okay. So Todd's taking some clear glass from the furnace, and he's gathering some red on top of that. Now we don't have to preheat that frit. Now that red is a 00, so it's a very fine frit. But even if he had like a number 1 or number 2 frit, the pieces of glass are so small that they, Kathleen, you got to duck out, but yep, circle back later and watch the pieces, and glad to have you with us. Okay, so the glass is hot enough that the frit sticks right to it. Now if you've seen us do the cane pieces or the Murini pieces, you know that we preheat those. And that's more because of the mass, the size of the piece, of glass, and it needs to be preheated throughout. So if you have a thick piece of glass that you're hoping to pick up, you better warm it all the way through. Okay. So Todd's gonna, and if you're hearing the bird chirping, we're not too worried about running out of power or the heat of the phone. It's just that we've got notifications on the phone and didn't turn them off. Todd's going through the red several times. And then he'll be picking up some white and some black. You got anything to say to the people, Josh?
No, just thank you folks for a great time.
Okay.
It's been a lot of fun. It really has. And thank Bruce, too, because he's been hilarious. And
Yeah. All right. So we're getting a really good dense concentration of red on this. We would be gathering between colors, Todd? Okay, so he'll be separating the levels of color with a little bit of clear glass. And he's making a vase. He's making a jack-in-the-pulpit. So it's helpful on pieces like this to have a thin layer of clear between the colors, because a lot of times the colors don't mix really well. Some of them we know will. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate that. Okay, so now on the marver to shake the glass. And I've told you 100 times, see how he holds his hands down to force the glass off the iron, then to level to make a cylinder. Then with the glass pointed down, he rolls it to kind of a conical shape. And now with the blow and cap, he's going to get his bubble to expand evenly throughout, but not too far down toward the tip. See how it's still conical shape a little bit at the end? Now he's just going to reshape that a bit, get things nice and stabilized. And then in a few moments, he'll gather over that. And just like with any of the other processes we've done, other pieces and whatnot, we wait just a few moments between gathers so that the intense heat of the fresh glass doesn't cause what we've already made to collapse. So here he goes back into our 400-pound furnace to gather up some clear. Now if he raises his hands like that, he's letting the glass drizzle back into the furnace. That saves a little glass. Somebody else can use it later. It also thins the coating on the side of the glass and helps keep it evenly distributed. And now, by tapping that in the bowl of white glass, we'll get a nice coverage of white over the red. So the white's an opaque color, and it's going to hide that cherry red. But when he opens up the jack-in-the-pulpit, that red, which will be the interior of the piece, will not only become visible, it'll be more vibrant, because the light that passes through the transparent red will bounce off of the white and back to your eye. So this is really going to give us a great intensity of the color when he's done. So the color application, if you want to think of it this way, is inside out. So he's got the interior layer first, then he's got the white that's going to provide the opaque background, and the last color is going to be the black, which is also a transparent. So he's got the white masking the other colors, but allowing any light that does transmit through those other colors to bounce back right at you. So we'll take a couple gathers of the white just to make sure he has a really good coating. So by using these finer frits, the ones that are ground a lot more, if you will, he gets better coverage on this. You can imagine if instead of that fine powdery stuff that he's got right there in the white, let's imagine he had pieces that were chunks that were about a 1/4 inch across. And they are sometimes useful, but when you blow the piece out, it would stretch apart and you'd have gaps in the white. So by going repeatedly through this white frit, it's a very fine grain, he's able to give it the appearance of being solid white. Again, with the hands down, see how the glass comes right off the pipe. You can see it forming a conical shape, pushing away from the pipe, and then he comes back and alters the angle. And now what he'll have is kind of a diamond shape, if you will, wider in the middle, and when he blows, it expands out, fills the middle of it, and now he'll simply bring this back down to shape. Hands down, glass comes off the pipe, hands up, we get closer to a cylinder, or if we roll it just on the outer half of the vessel, we get that diamond shape. By changing the angle and continuing to roll, he gets that little ridge right out of the middle. And then it'll be time for one more gather and through the black. Interestingly enough, the black is primarily made with the same chemical as purple, and that would be manganese. And I don't know if it's really true, but I've had some more experienced glass blowers, and some scientists tell me there is not a true black. And if your black is thin enough, it will appear purplish. Do all your different colors of frit come in the different sizes? Yeah, the manufacturers sell darn near any size you want. Now, we don't choose to get all of the colors. Let's watch Todd strip the glass off of the glowing iron. See how that just drizzled right off and burned itself where it was a real thin line. That's all right, Barbara. I knew you weren't talking about blueberries. Okay, so he's picking up the black, and he's going to go through this several times to get a really good coverage on it. So, for instance, in our color bin in the back area, and what the heck, let's go take a look at that. He's going to pick up black again. It's going to look as the same thing he just did. Okay, so here are a bunch of our colors. Now, the frits are all in these Tupperware containers stacked up in the wall, and the bar stock is over here. Now, some of them we have several sizes, but there's a few of them that we only have 1 or 2 sizes of because of the application that we use. So let's get back out here to the glass blowing, because I know that's what you're here for. He's heating things up there. I'm going to see if I can back up while we still watch Todd. And we have some ornaments. For instance, he's just gathering black. See this one right here? That's made with larger frit, and that's by design. We want it to look like that when it blows out. Same thing with this one here. But then if we make another piece with frit, we might have a very tight design, tight color that we want, so we use a smaller frit. So that's basically how we choose the frit sizes, and then we decide whatever it is we're making, what size frit do we want to use to make that. All right, there he is with the hands down, glass on the edge. There goes the cone right at the pipe. Some things in this world you can count on. Well, good morning, Deborah. And if you or any of the others are just joining us recently, we're going to be taking a hiatus from the. Yes, David, the Tupperware does keep the frit fresher longer. So we're going to take a hiatus from the Facebook Live presentations. The Maryland Renaissance Fair is going to start the weekend of August 28th and 29th. We've got product to be making and getting ready to go. Right now, Todd is using the jacks to create a point of separation, but not right at the blowing iron. He's actually got it a little further out, and you can see the glass stretching away from the pipe. That's because he was pulling outward. He was applying pressure away from the blowing iron. And that lengthens what will be the neck or the upright portion of the jack in the pulpit. And Patricia says she hasn't seen such an array of Tupperware since the last look inside her mom's refrigerator. There you go. Yes, David, I think your jokes would keep better in a Tupperware. So Todd has actually pulled the glass away from the blowpipe with the jacks, and by hanging it down, it's elongating, and he's also going to help keep it straight. Now for the jack line where we'll separate from the blowing iron. Now you can see that the piece is a little crooked, but that's not to worry. So the key to the glass blower is knowing when you have to be concerned about something, and when, if you notice a little bit off, you know that you have plenty of time to fix it. And that's exactly what Todd did. As he cut the jack line, the piece fell a little bit off center, but he knew that he had plenty of time to get that straightened out. You got any questions? Oh, I digress. We got caught up in frit, and I think forgot to tell a couple of you that this is going to be our last broadcast for a little while. We're taking a break. The Renaissance Fair begins August 28th. It ends the weekend of October 24th, and it'll be at some point after that that we resume our Facebook Live presentation. He's using the newspaper now to straighten and chill that part, and he's going to blow out a little bit. And that bulb at the bottom, which will be the base. Well, Jana, we're glad you got in with us for today. And in case you are just joining us now, Todd already made this year's spirit piece. It's a comet shape with a very colorful tail, which will hang at the Renaissance Fair for the entire duration. And it will be available for sale, but if someone should purchase it, then you'd have to let it hang at the fair until after it's over. Now, Todd's going to be using the footboards, and we've talked about these many times before, but here they are. So they're two pieces of wood, one's wider than the other, and they're hinged in the back with a piece of fabric. The notches are what allows him to create the the shape of the foot, okay? So Josh right now has gathered up glass. He's got that over here. He's going to shape it with the block just to get it nice and round, but he won't stay on that long because he wants to conserve the heat. The jack line he creates will help the glass flow away from the pipe, okay? And now that he's got that, he'll be taking that over to Todd. He'll present it. Todd will grip his iron with the shears, place the piece on the bottom, and then cut it free. Well, glad you made it with us, Todd, Ted. Nice to have you. And so anyway, we'll be back sometime after the Ren Fair is over, but this is it for the day. The spirit piece will be out of the annealer tomorrow. We'll have pictures posted. But even better, why don't you visit us at the Renaissance Fair and come see for yourself. Todd's going to use the wood to shape that now by squeezing those two boards together. It makes the glass thinner, gives it a much sharper edge, and that's how he creates the foot with the footboard. There we go. Josh is in the process of making the punty for him. Todd's going to make sure that he's got a little bit of heat in it. A good flash. He'll bring it back to the bench. If he has a little more work to do, Josh will just hang out and then flash the punty before they use it. There's just a little bit of alignment there. Josh has rewarmed it in the pipe warmer a little bit, and that's just enough to stick to that hot foot. Todd gets that centered up. Then he'll use the sofietta or the puffer. And this is to cool the site where the punty rests. Now he's actually using the footboards to straighten the foot a little bit while they're waiting on the punty to cool. So that is, in air traffic control, we would have called that maximum utilization of airspace. But in glass blowing, I guess it's maximum utilization of bench time. Okay, so now we've got the transfer completed. It's still wobbling around a little bit because the punty joint is still pretty hot, but Todd now is going to heat the lip or the opening of the piece and get that hot enough to work. So if you recall from the construction of this piece, the interior is red, it's covered in a layer of white, and then on the outside is black. So you're not going to see the red until the inside opens up. But that's the whole idea in the jack in the pulpit, that the large flared portion in the piece that's pulled out with the tweezers is going to expose the red. So the piece was cold enough to fracture and break free of the blowing iron. Takes a couple of minutes, but you can see where the heat is. You see that orange glow? That's where the heat is. So that's one thing that's kind of nice about having the colors in use. The clear glass doesn't do that so much. He's using the newspaper to chill it, and he's also using the rotation to straighten it out. If the neck has a little bit of a wobble in it, you've got one eye on that and one eye on the rest of it. Actually, it's not so much having just one eye looking, it is a matter of being able to expand and contract your focus. You need to be able to focus in on the part you're working on, which in this case is the opening of the lip. But you can't lose sight of what's going on with the rest of the piece. So you have to be able to use your peripheral vision and have your concentration not only on the spot you're working, but the rest of the piece as well. And if you see something go off somewhere, then you just pay attention to it. Starting to be able to see a little bit of the red peek through. That color there is not just because of heat, that's actually the red that's been backed up with the white in there. Yes, Andrea is quite a talented artist, and we're lucky to have him here working. Again, he's working on the upper reaches of the vessel. He's got the bottom 3/4 of it pretty well formed, and now what he's going to do is continue to open that and get more volume by using the sofietta. Now watch what happens to the glass. Just beyond that entry point, see how it's bulging out? That's from the air that he's blowing in with the sofietta. We could do the same thing with a steam cone, but the steam cone is kind of an on or off proposition. It's your basic binary, ones and zeros, okay? You either got the steam cone inflating at who knows what pressure, or it's not. And by using the sofietta, he can blow a little harder, he can stop for a minute, he can blow softer, he can continually adjust it in process. So that's the nice thing about using the sofietta. Then what he'll begin to do is open that bulge out to a flare. So watch his hand angle. See, as his hand comes down toward the floor, the jack blades are following along, and he begins to open that cup. He's cooling right behind the cup now, because when he goes in the glory hole, it's all going to get hot. He's not going to have any choice in that matter. But does Todd have a sore back? Do you have a sore back, Todd? Yes.
How week back? Ask me how long I've had it.
Okay.
Ask me. How long have I had a week back? Oh, it's a week back. Nobody?
Well, the post disappeared, but somebody asked it. Okay. All right. So now he's spun that out into a flat disc, and he's going to use the paddle to flatten it a little more. Then he's going to change the angles. One swept down, one swept up, and then he can use the tweezers to grip it and begin to pull. And if he wants more of that, he can go back for more heat. But there's your jack in the pulpit, folks. There's your shape right there. There's that beautiful red, and it'll show up even more brilliantly tomorrow. So be sure to check our pages tomorrow to see. It's going to open the door there to get another little flash on that, and we've got this beautiful jack in the pulpit now. It's just a few seconds of heat. Oh, it was your aunt, Marion. Ask about your back. Okay, so now he's going to come back out. Again, a little drop of water right onto the funny joint will take it free. Yes, jumbo jack in the pulpit. A little bit of water and a tap. Josh gets it in the gloved hand, and away we go to the annealer. All righty. All right, let's hear it for Todd. Beautiful piece, sir. Beautiful piece. Okay, that's wonderful. So there's your bonus feature for today. Yes, it is true. We're cutting this one a little bit short, and we're going to be going on a hiatus. For the rest of you that joined us late, we're going to be getting ready for the Maryland Renaissance Fair starting the weekend of August 28th. Running through October 23rd, 24th, and then after that we'll be coming back to the Facebook Live presentation. Sound of the fan? Okay. So we'll come back here. We're away from the fan a little bit, okay? So anyway, we've thoroughly enjoyed the past 11 months of these presentations. Hope you'll join us. We will miss you, as I'm sure some of you will miss us. If you've got any final questions or anything, if you can't pop them on the comment section right now, shoot us an email. Can Foster give you a call? Yes, Ted. Foster can give you a call. Okay. Well, it's been my pleasure to be your cameraman and narrator for all this time. And we'd like to also thank Patrick Foley for coming and helping us out. So, from Foster.
Thank you very much, folks.
And Josh.
We'll see you in a couple of quick months.
And Todd. And Peter. And yes, even me. Is it
Close enough. Close enough.
Hey, you're
Thanks.
going to Foster there.
Thanks for joining us. It's been our pleasure, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Well, it's not letting me end the video. Maybe nobody wants us to go.